little music box. Are you doing an age, sex, location check, Layla? That's so like 1990s. Why does age matter? Shauna, that's a jazz flute. Oh fuck no, I'm not a boomer. I'm not about identity politics, yo. Boomer music. Oh shit. Everybody's a critic. Everybody's a critic. What does it matter? Experimenting with the jazz flute. It's called acid jazz, young lady. Oh, I don't mind. Do I look like a fucking boomer to you? It's supposed to. I don't know what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to. That is AI generated. Layla, I look millennial, girl. Now you're my friend again. Oh shit. I'm old and I'm young looking. I'm both. I'm everything. I'm like Ziggy Stardust. Julie artificially opened, you're close. Don't guess my weight right now. It's been a long winter. Oh my god, I was over at 1111 True Crimes. I was over at 1111 True Crimes checking that stream out. She was onto some good things. Somebody tell me which live stream Daniel, whose live stream was that? Because I was reading through my comments the first thing this morning. And people were talking all about how there was a person with insider knowledge. Wait for this one, guys. Wait, are you guys sitting down? Wait for this one. They're all people are all up in my comments talking about, oh, there's all this new information from a person who has insider knowledge, who was talking to somebody with the RCMP, like a recycled Don B, God bless him. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll travel over and check out Clutch Them Pearls. I'll go check out Justin's content. Dude, I turn it on and I'm like, that's fucking Sher. Sher's up there. People are talking about Cher being this individual with insider knowledge, and I'm like, oh no. It's a crying shame, Tammy. Thank you very much. Oh man, that Cher girl. So then it made me laugh and giggle a little bit. People must not know who Cher is at this point in time. She'll be weaseling her way into this so she can go and represent like Malaya. She'll be representing the guilty party. You're not gonna even. Yeah, it was Cher, sweet tea. Voices behind the wall. I'm like, oh shit. People are so thirsty they overlook how they're getting their information. And God bless her. And it's like, do I even want to start in with Cher? Do I even want to get into this? It was fun, but then I thought, you know what? I wonder if Cher and I could have a live stream together and talk about a subject, the same subject in the same sort of way in that circumstance, and maybe we would get along after that. So that kind of idea popped into my head. I would never have thought that earlier, but now I'm thinking I won't even say anything nasty about her. I won't even chill the shit out of her, which I could and should. But that would only be in vain. It would only be just to satisfy my troll side of me, and I'll be like, nah, I'll just keep it to myself. But before we start tonight, if you hear the term insider information, they're referring to Cher as the insider. And as ridiculous as that sounds, excuse me for laughing in your ear there, she's been an insider before on other cases, such as the case in Savannah, Georgia. Oh my God, the name escapes me, depending on the victim. But, what's her name? Help me out, guys. What was Cher? Remember, they had a banner up on their wall. Thank you so much, Cher. Thank you for enabling this for as long as possible. Dolly was out on the other way during the big protest. Oh my God. As if I can't. Quentin Simon, excuse me. Thank you so much. Quentin Simon's case. And that was Lalani, yeah. I don't know why I do that to myself. It's like a purposeful fart, like a blockage right there when I do that to myself. Put myself on the spot, but I know that I'm going to forget it, so therefore I do. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I should write these things down sometimes. Usually they're right on... I don't need to write them down. But you're right, thank you. There's a bit of a delay. Oh, shit. So I had a laugh about that, and for those of you who don't get that yet, you will. Eventually. But you can almost see it coming down the line. You're like, oh, here comes Cher. She's going to weasel her way in there through Justin. And because here's a situation, again, like Quentin Simon and Lalani Simon, where they need a person like Cher on their side. You need somebody like a liaison, a conduit. If you're trying to get away with what Lalani Simon was trying to get away with, and this is no different. This is another Lalani Simon situation. Cher will be there advertising her credentials as a life coach. I love it. She's like the female version of Top G. What's his name? Oh, God bless him. He makes me laugh. I love him. But he really is a Top G though. Andrew Tate. She shares like the antithesis of Andrew Tate in a female. She's the lowest G. Oh shit, I love her though. But she makes me laugh nonetheless, and she gets herself in these situations that shouldn't. It makes you feel some sort of way. But I came to the point where I learned to appreciate the shenanigans and the craziness and just the sheer desire, because it's fascinating to watch people who want to be like these true life vloggers, right? They love to be these true life vloggers and engage with an audience. And there's a certain level of cringe that comes along with that. And Cher is all about it. And we've been following her for quite a while now. And she's a definite character. I'm trying not to say anything negative about it. I'm trying to express it as what I find entertaining about it, what I find hilarious. And of course you get yourself hooked in, and we're past the point of getting my feelings up, because it doesn't bother me that much. I know what Cher is all about. We had our thing when she first came on the scene way back in the Summer Wells case. And it was just as that case developed, she was just a person, an early channel that covered it. And the more that you got to know about Cher, the crazier it became. And I've forgiven her in my mind, but I still love all kinds of people out there that love. So it's developed a bit of a partisan genre here in these little troll videos like Torch Spotlight. God bless that channel who monitors and has been monitoring Sher for all of this time, and her love and her, leaving the kids back in Minnesota to skip over the border during lockdown and marry Prairie Boy, and they're still together today, and then the move up and everything. It's hilarious. It's funny, but that's what she wants. The GoFundMe for teeth, yeah. The GoFundMe for the marriage. This is what she wants. She wants people to watch her, and she gets off on it in that sense. I don't need to know that maybe TMI, but I didn't mean it in a sexual meaning, but it probably goes there as well. In her fixation with these cats, it's these cats that people get their feelings up about, is because she's always using them as props in her video to garner donations on her channel, right? So that's just one thing of many factors. I guess that's it in a roundabout way. But, when you look at yourself and you think, God, she's so trashy or something like that, you have to take a step back and realize for a moment that you're sitting there admiring all of the trashiness at its finest. So it's hard for me to sit up here and tell you that I feel that she's a good and bad person. I think that Cher's a well-meaning individual, and she loves her YouTube channel in that sense. She loves these situations, and what's really funny about it all is that she puts herself on a pedestal, or seems to, because out of very least you have to in front of an audience to make it look like you're in a position to tell them, to inform them and keep it entertaining, rather than going live and not knowing anything, right? You have to at least do a little bit of embellishing to make it exciting. Well, Cher sometimes doesn't know when to stop. Exactly. Yeah, some people just don't like her. I'm just letting you know where I am. That way I can laugh openly and you guys don't think it's malicious or anything like that. But we are going to talk about Jack and Lilly. So she was up there. God knows what she was saying last night. But she's our new insider, the insider information. And, as funny as that is, she kind of is an insider, just not in this situation yet. It's just not insider information. So it just makes me wonder how it was presented, but I'll leave it at that. Good to know about her, says Mama Angie. Excuse me, I only saw her last night and I thought she was fake as fuck. Oh shit, I should tell you some stories. I haven't even told you like the crux of it could go a few different levels, because we all know Cher so well in that sense. She loves to be in front of her camera, and she utilizes it to the best of her ability to make and steer her life. There's some very funny moments. Unintentionally funny moments, I feel. That's all. Anyway, let's talk shit about this Daniel and Malaya for a while. Oh, fuck. Hey, Karen Jones. There's always, maybe I should pull out some of these idiotic troll statements. There's some, I don't like to alienate certain people in the audience. But there's the difference between having an opposing view and just having a misconstrued viewpoint about what it is that's going on in the first place. And I think there's a difference, so I did highlight a couple of them. I was trolling some troll statements in my stop alienating you. I just said it, and you're claiming I'm alienating you. We'll go back into your hole then, amenity. Oh, shit. Happy Friday, Sky Maiden. I got distracted there. According to people, I don't know what was exactly being said. I've got it all broken down in the back here. I don't think nothing really stood out to me on this stream that they were talking about of any importance. I didn't really listen to it, though. I just read the analysis. They blocked you again on a crying shame, Karen Jones? Well, you're throwing a real monkey wrench into the narrative. You're throwing a real monkey wrench into the situation, because you're the only person out there who actually knows them. I'm not even trying to out you. You know them somehow. I know you know them. I know you know I know. Yeah, that's the question now at this point, Bonnie Randall. They go out of their way to viciously troll troll Karen Jones in all kinds of chats across the internet, which only increases the mystique about Karen Jones. It's probably because you're being rude. Yeah, Karen Jones is rude, so you can never quite tell. You can never quite tell as to the reason people are upset at her. But it seems to be a commonality thing. And please be nicer, Karen, if you can. So, Sher, just a little background. Go ask Dolly Vision all about how Sher behaved in that Leilani Simon, situation, because he was on the exact opposite side, right? That was some interesting stuff. Although you can't okay that behavior. It happens, and really, you can understand the argument both sides. Yeah, you don't want to see things get out of hand like that, but again, I'm proud of people for getting out there and making their presence known and standing up in a lawful manner and making their presence known in that situation, that they know what's going on and they're not going anywhere until they find some sort of justice. And when you find out, I've got a feeling when you find out, when we all find out a little bit more in this situation, people are going to be feeling the same way. We protect our children in this society. What sort of indicators have we seen from Daniel or Malaya that they have ever protected these children in this circumstance, in this situation? They're going to have to answer at some point in time. Monkey Mind, is Sher a scammer or what? I'll leave that up to you in that circumstance. There was a time where I probably would have said yes, but listen, buyer beware when you're on the internet. All of these channels, everybody has a right to be here and talk about whatever they want, and who am I to spoil how you get your information in the case in that sense. You'll get to know Sher. Once she gets in your timeline, it's going to be hard to ignore all of the other videos that pop up. So I'm not going to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy because it just makes you look like a meanie. But I don't mind talking with Sher about certain parts of the case. And that what I didn't like about Sher way back in the Summer Wells case is that she immediately took the most disgusting, disturbing stance in a case of these particular children from my perspective. She wanted to protect the suspects at all costs and say the most ludicrous things and go and collect money and act as that person, as a conduit of well-wishers and Mark's donations from YouTube into Don and Candace's pocket, okay? But she took that position and then she changed it ever so slightly to kind of turn parallel back into everybody else's. See what she did there? Well, she'll be doing that again. It's not my first bull run. So, I mean, I'm done holding that against her in that sense. There's so much more. But I like watching her through all of the channels that actually watch her and then make these little videos about her in that sense. That's Voices Behind the Wall. VBTW. Remember how crazy it was when you first found out about, Yeah. It's like, this woman has got to be evil. What's up with Sher? And then the more that I got to know Sher, the more that, it humanizes her a lot more. So it's just Sher. The insider information. I have no doubt that she came up on Justin's and presented it in a certain way. No doubt. Propping herself up, taking the opportunity. That's what she was up there for. God bless her. Let me see. I don't get those people who ask Dan to speak, then call him a liar. You mean Daniel? What do you mean, Emily? it's like you're assuming that we have to believe a person just because they're speaking. He should be speaking. We encourage Daniel to speak at any point in time. The problem with Daniel is that dude is associated with the situation at hand. So if you're already not aware of it, he's in a position to have all power over a bunch of people that are so eager for any sort of information at any point in time. That's the point of being here. You think he's here because he's interested in the topic? Hardly. Who's Julie, Tony? You probably missed something, girl. Oh, Jamie, that's not true. This Karen Jones isn't Daniel. Well, I shouldn't say who is and isn't, but you've got something in your mind. But that's okay. You'll come around. Yeah, Daniel's story changes if you listen carefully, Teresa. Yeah, why is he here to answer everybody's question in this circumstance? The answer is to camouflage himself in as being just as mystified as to what had happened over a story that he already knew was fake before they called it into the RCMP. He had to. Now, whether the RCMP will tell him that, it doesn't matter. But this moron is up there talking about how innocent he is on the CBC. Why the need to do that so early? You're worried about what a few people think around there? Well, time will tell. If you truly have nothing to worry about, it wouldn't occur to you that an interview was needed to clear your name. Isn't it a little early to be clearing anybody's name yet, especially when you don't want to? You really don't want to lead on as to what has gone on. And for whatever reason, the good thing that's going on, not for whatever reason, the best thing that's working on his behalf is the fact that he's talking and coming out, and at least looks like he's transparent. The things that he is saying isn't in line to helping find those kids at all. But he wants to be in a position to approve and disapprove certain narratives out there that people are speculating over. And that's highly suspect. You're in or you're out, son. I bought it for the first 5 minutes, for the first 10 minutes. When you first hear it, you want to believe it. But there's no possible way that any of his or Darren's claims hold any weight at this point in time. Emily, Karen Jones called you out last live stream for being an enabler of Daniel. Why is it so that you're so keyed into Daniel being just this innocent individual in this situation when 2 children went missing under his watch? At this point in time, when you shouldn't know anything about what's going on or what had went on. Oh, Teresa, Daniel's mom did a timeline? Janie? Oh, Daniel, you couldn't do your own timeline, son? Everybody has their own timelines. I guess that's what he's trying to say. I'm not trying to paraphrase. Daniel's mom did a timeline. I think I watched that over at 11:11. Come on now. She's nowhere around, and he's taking advantage of the fact that her culpability in this isn't going to allow her to come out and openly speak and be scrutinized. Especially in front of the police and the world after all of this has been out, and there's no possible way that your story is holding water. You guys admitted that you lied. Therefore, that tells investigators, why would we believe you at any other point? So you can come out here to social media and try to mend your own self-image, because all along the way, that's what it's been. It's been a PR stunt for Daniel alone. Telling you, yeah, it was a complete lie. The kids didn't walk into the bush, and I wish I could tell you a whole bunch more. By the way, we'll be visiting Malaya in jail, and maybe I'll bring Meadow. Hardly. Because at bare minimum, you were in that home too, Daniel. What part did you contribute to whatever happened to these children? And I'll bet when we find out what it is, it's going to be at least 50-50. But he's in a position where he can go unchecked. and nobody can check him in real time. He can say anything. And why is it he's really, really continuing the facade of this intensive search when he's already admitted that it's a bunk story to begin with? What were you out there running around for, and what do you continue to run around for? What do you keep talking about? You need to keep going out there and searching. What was the point of carrying all of that on? That could be amenity. That could be. Well, this is the piece. No, the biggest piece is going to be, this is the piece that doesn't answer anything. You're sitting there telling me that Daniel doesn't know what happened to those kids, and I'm saying that that's an absolute bullshit lie. No matter how much he comes out and tries to pin it on Malaya alone in that circumstance. Now, you can gain some favor and some immunity by testifying against her in court when the time comes. But when they find out what's happened to these kids, do you think there's going to be a lot of saving grace for a person who contributed to the lifestyle? Absolutely not. And it makes me sick that people want to back up and protect Daniel in this circumstance. Like, shame on you, number one, that you're so eager to jump at this point in time and defend a person who's so obviously partially responsible for the death of these two kids at this point in time and still continues to play games. It doesn't mean anything that you just do 1 + 1 = 2, amenity. That means nothing. You're spamming my chat, girl. Karen, do you have anything? Didn't you want to call out amenity for something in my chat? She sent me a message. After the end of last stream, she picked out your messages and sent them to me and pointed out the issue. I'm not going to block you, but you don't need to fill my chat up with spam, telling us shit that we already know that's really from your own perspective. It's just spam at the end of the day. It's not contributing to the conversation. But I do appreciate comments. Don't get me wrong. Daniel says that he was not there when the cops arrived. Yeah, he said everything. They've mimicked the story. For the time being, for the sake of understanding on a greater scale what went on with the kids, we accept everything he has to say. But, he's so eager to make it look like he's not a suspect, and his measurement was the amount of time that the cops called him on a daily basis. Your logic's flawed. You've got flawed logic. Hold on. Okay, you can have one. Popsicle radio. Nobody's taking that away from you, Amity. You're trying to... It's just disruptive, that's all. You can stay. You don't have to leave. You don't have to get your feels all worked up. We know what Daniel said. But you championing what Daniel says is only seeing it to a certain point. Only believing all the things that you've been told without questioning them in perspective. You think both Daniel and Malaya are as guilty as one another? Of course they are. That's why the need to go to such extents to cover up what happened. This should be a very easy story. It's not. It's because both of these two have an equal vested interest in not having the truth come out, because the truth coming out works against them all, works against them both. So at bare minimum, they want to drive home the mystery and sort everything else in the wash, put more blame on Malaya than Daniel. And it might work in court, but we're talking about what happened to the children specifically. There's no doubt that and no doubt within me at least. I don't know about you guys, but there's no doubt that, don't even mind the pieces of breadcrumb that you've been left. You scale out. Something bad happened to these children. How they went about transporting the bodies, and who's more responsible than the other Should it be them not get into substance and it was by their own hands? It was still their particular fault. I got distracted by that question. Daniel says he offered to take a polygraph. That is a lie. Yeah, you can say that all you want. He sounds like Trezell. Trezell West in that circumstance. You can say that all you want, Karen. I mean, you can offer all things up to make it look, and that's all it is. It's no different than an attempt like Darren Gettys gets in front of you and trying to make it look like he was doing all of this out of the sheer kindness of his heart. It's not like he had a choice in the matter. Whether you offer it up or whether they do it, they're still going to get done. You're just trying to, head it off. Psychological for him. He's got a need to cover up his tracks. That's what's keeping him so busy. This is fucking not because he wants to find those kids. If he wanted to find those kids, there would never have been a bullshit story to the RCMP in the first place. Of course they can, Osprey. And what is a lie in the truth? Technically, what is that? Oh my God. There's so much theory that you can argue back and forth in this circumstance, but listen, the investigators aren't going to be, they're going to be telling them whatever it is that they need to tell them in the moment. It's not like this is an open case and everybody's trying to solve this together. Daniel keeps trying to make it look that way. If you're so fucking innocent in all this, why the need to speak out in the first place? Your mind should be somewhere else completely. Traumatized, worried, concerned. Daniel, you gave yourself away when you're up and down looking in the culverts miles around in every which direction. You already knew the story was bullshit at the time. Has Dan clarified that? Oh my God, Amenity. I think you got a one-track mind, girl. You're spamming my chat. That's spam. Yeah. Oh my God. Dan's already clarified that? No, he hasn't clarified jack shit. He's not. Daniel talking and trying to clarify things on social media is nothing. We can't believe him. He's proven himself unreliable. The truth might be in there somewhere, but it's going to take a little bit more than his word to convince people at this point, considering he's equally as responsible for whatever happened to Jack and Lily. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Tammy Burke. Just a bunch of suspicion. Monkey mind. You're worried about the math? Do you think it's still going on up in that house? You think the whole thing about the man was at the waterfall? The whole thing about the man, he was at the waterfall, and she will know what it means. Oh, yeah, his statement is possibly a secret code of some kind to tell her where the kids are or something that's happened. Well, it's definitely an indicator that he's speaking coded to her. Now, whether that is an attempt to try to win her back, that it could be part of the cleverness of perpetrating it a certain way, like breaking up the same day type of thing. There's already a plan at hand. No matter how much of the plan she agrees to with Logan in the moment, it's just to fool Logan. You've got all of these people that immediately surrounded. They surrounded themselves with a bunch of people who weren't immediately there, and convinced them of a story to go and turn around and go like Amity in my chat and defend at all ends what's real and what's not in this particular story. Let me remind you that, Amity, you're in no position to be telling me personally what it is that I'm about to present and sit there and argue like you are. You're just sitting here fucking trolling. So the next time you do, I'm gonna time you out for 5 minutes. That's all. 5 minutes. That's a 5-minute penalty. But okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding. I'm open to it. Just because I like how wound up you get. He is possible suspect, A-Balance. He won't talk. He can incriminate himself, in my opinion. It's quite obvious really. It's obvious to me at this point. I mean, all you have to do is start talking about the lie. Just because he's the person that introduced the lie doesn't automatically get him off the hook. We're worried about Jack and Lilly in this circumstance. They're not worried about Jack and Lilly in this circumstance. Not at all. And it's hard to believe, if they're not, that all of the people that are in their circle aren't or are concerned about Jack and Lilly. You might think that that's the politically correct thing to say. However, I'm not exactly certain about that. If you believe either or any but one of those two in this circumstance, you're just reiterating the bullshit story that they're planning in that sense. Daniel can say what he wants because the RCMP will not share. That's right, Lisa S. But you got to be careful if you're him as well, that you don't stray too far away from your initial claims, or it looks bad. What's going on, Kip Rich? Oh, that's bullshit, Ronnie. That blue Tesla, he's utilizing that guy. That blue Tesla is the dude that I think, what's his dad's name? Earl yelled at in the bush. That went on, has that piece that's up on TikTok that we looked at with Daphne on Daphne's channel the other day. I think that's where that blue Tesla comes from. But it brings up the question, you know why a person would be on the land. You know exactly why somebody would be there. In fact, you should expect a lot more. I would have thought there would be a lot more. Isn't this an emergency? Why so secretive? Why so hostile when people come by? Are you worried that people are going to lash out against you? Are you paranoid about something? I would think so. Amity, you can calm down. You can feel that way, but again, darling, it's only you that is portraying it a certain way, telling me that I'm the ignorant one and screaming in my live chat about how innocent and how much of the truth this fucking loser Daniel is spewing. Get the fuck out of here. That's what you can do. Nobody gives a fuck. Okay? You're the one who's up here hating on all these true crime channels for talking about the case. Who the fuck are you? And who cares? It's too bad we'll never find out. She gone. Oh, Donka Kit Rich, thank you very much, darling. That's very, very generous of you, my friend. You can either contribute to the conversation or you can get fucked. Okay? I'm not about listening to some fucking loser that's so interested in identity politics in my chat, wanting to know what generation all of the viewers in my live chat are. You're just a fucking white knight for Daniel. Okay? You can't handle listening to the fucking reality of the situation. I don't need to be spoken to by a person like you, bitch. Okay? She gone. I'm on a fucking roll today. And there is so many of them, and they're all just so protective of all of the information that Daniel keeps fucking coming to us with. Get fucked. There's not one part of this that Daniel is exonerated in, because he's just the man with all of the fucking information. If he had any fucking information, none of us would be here talking about it. He's got just enough to straighten out whatever confusion that you have at that moment in time. I hate alienating some people, but I think that she was trying to get fucking banned. Do you know what I'm saying? See, I don't know. That's hard. That's hard. I don't know. Where's my friend Jamie in chat? See, there's a situation, Jamie, that makes me think that Karen Jones isn't Daniel. Okay, number one, and is a woman, number two, because she sends me little snippets picking out the things that she's saying in my chats, calling her like somebody close to Daniel in that circumstance and needing to be called out over time. Anyway, I love some drama now and then, excuse me. Who are you talking about, Phoenix? I haven't even been paying attention to what the hell you're saying. Both of these parents know where the children are. Absolutely, Phoenix. People playing word hostage. You're not having it. Listen, they're playing fucking games. They're playing games because they're being put on the spot in a situation that none of them have control over, and they certainly don't have any control over what's being said and discussed on social media. They want to really badly. That's kind of the point of Daniel joining people's live streams and being there and available to answer any sort of questions for you. And guess what? The benefit is most fucking of these creators are sell-out bitches. And they will go with that every single time and champion whatever nonsense narrative that you want, because there's always a question. And that's just the market for it. That's just the market for it. You can't get mad at any one person like getting mad at Sher. That's why I'm not mad at Sher anymore. Because it's just a market. She recognized that. It's a business model. All right? It sure pisses you off because it's hard not to get emotionally attached to these situations when there's children involved. And these cocksuckers want to talk over you and tell you what's factual about a situation. Bitch, you're not in any fucking position to be telling who's telling the truth. Fucking retard. Sick of it. Not that much, though. You got to do that every so often. You got to fucking go hard every so often. I'm picking a side, and it's on the side of those kids. Exactly. We're looking for justice. Hard justice right here. Daniel hasn't once mentioned justice in the case of whatever's happened in this circumstance. He wants to pretend that he's absolutely in the dark as to what fucking happened after the guy admitted to planning a false story with the RCMP that's confused the public. You get them all fucking confused. It's no different than boot camp. You beat them down and you build them back up again. And you can do that psychologically. And Daniel's always around waiting to answer your fucking questions with his buddy Darren and his son Darren Jr., Jordan. You'll never go wrong calling this sort of bullshit out. Never, ever go wrong. So that's where Sher and I always differ. That's where our natural divide is. I couldn't pretend to be the other way. Even though we all know that truth in the media isn't a fucking thing, right? And I don't pretend to be up here looking and specifically delivering you truth bombs at all times. That's not what this is for. This is an entertaining way to vent all our frustrations at this point in time and talk about it. Because you're not going to get that from corporate media. So somebody wants to come in here and get all up in their feels about how much they believe in Daniel and they dislike any alternate views. Fuck, I've got to put up with yours. You know, I wanted to believe Daniel as well. I wanted to believe so very much that the guy that's coming out of the woodwork with all of these stories claiming that the kids were alive was really true. Well, I gave him 72 hours. That's more than I should have given him. And boy, oh boy, it's hard not to believe like this Darren Gettys was really embellishing his accent, because he's got two different accents in those clips. The one that he was on with Justin, talking to Justin, he was there straightening out any misconceptions. Oh, did you come in here and straighten that out for us too, Amenity? I don't fucking think so. You seen that clip where this Darren Gettys is talking to Justin at Clutch Them Pearls, and he says that no member of the band council would ever take that risk and hide any children in a situation like this. Well, that's complete polar opposite to what he's had everybody believing for the last 3 weeks. So think about the residual effects of all that amongst a bunch of people who have really formed their opinions at this point in time. That's what the point of it was. To get you believing a certain way, get you in a state of psychological confusion. That way, you're more malleable the next time they feed you it. The bullshit. He hasn't faced the world outside Garlock Road. He has a face for the world outside Garlock Road, says Karen, and one for the culture of the world. I see. I don't know, Tammy. I'm more patient in this circumstance. Like, really, I don't put a whole lot of I want to hope I want to think that the RCMP have an understanding, and believe me, somebody in the RCMP knows exactly what the fuck's going on, but that's exactly opposite of well, not close to bringing charges yet, because they have to get enough information. This takes time, especially in an environment where people are actively hiding, evidence in that circumstance. It takes time. And the best that you can hope for from the person trying to get away with the crime is that it remains unsolved. That's kind of what they're going for. They made those kids disappear. And the more that you play this fucking game out here, Daniel, the more that you continue to play this game, the more that will sink in with people. Because really, he's really aiming for this. Now you have this load of people who've already altered and adapted their story to pander to the audience that are demanding certain things from them. They're changing their narrative up a bit. It goes along the lines, it goes in line with building a narrative. They're changing, even in this current, or this most recent live stream, you could see it. I mean, I don't blame Daniel for that, because the guy's trying to get away with something here. He's trying to make it look like he is less culpable in this circumstance, and we're supposed to believe everybody that was on there this time. Oh, we as opposed to the first time all of this should have been talked about, like instead of the false reports 911 that set off this crazy thing that's going on now, that you had to pretend that you were searching up until that you really got called out on social media for being a bullshitter. It's changed. Yeah, you're right, Phoenix. He came in and cussed Justin out. He's a rude one. Hey, Jude, who? Daniel came in and cussed Justin out? That's funny. Justin isn't afraid to push the boundaries in that sense. He likes to clickbait things. He's probably reacting to the nasty titles. But again, Justin isn't gonna let him get walked, or he's not gonna let him walk all over him. Yeah, Kelly, it takes forever to build these cases in this circumstance. It's not. I'm not very happy that there's these two assholes walking loose. Like, when you see something so blatantly ridiculous, you think that they should be in handcuffs and held accountable, at least to wherever the heck your children are. Like, you're responsible, even if they disappear and vanish in this circumstance. Not right now, please. Oh, you can have that. Go ahead. You can take it. Go ahead. Or are you putting it back? I get it, dear. I'm sorry. Scared me. Coming at me behind me with some scissors. I almost got hit. Tammy, all tips have been gone through. Cadaver dogs have been... What are you saying with there? All tips have been gone through. Kiwis, that's very generous of you, darling. Thank you very much for the gifting. Have been gone through. Cadaver dogs have been in. I called because everyone wants to know if cadaver dogs were in. We were all going to raise money for them if not. Tammy, that's a nice thought in that circumstance. Listen, first of all, the RCMP are under no obligation to be telling you any sort of details like that. They might tell you that, no, they didn't initially use cadaver dogs, and people would say that that's an absolute mistake. Well, that's why they don't tell you. But if they did tell you that, then they probably didn't. But having people, run a GoFundMe to try to raise money to have that, absolutely not. That's just an excuse to share a link around with a bunch of people that are more than likely going to donate to something that's going to a person's pocket. Absolutely not. I would never, ever, ever endorse a GoFundMe for anything like that, especially when the bank is pretty big. There's no cost that goes without. If they warrant, they'll bring in a cadaver dog. They can get a cadaver dog. All these people wanting to fight over how many there are in Canada or where they are. Fuck, there's plenty of private people that'll get on a plane and fly them in if you really need one. Why they don't have one, that's, in my mind, just possibly not true. I want to hate on the RCMP in this circumstance, but they're not really under an obligation to be verifying any information with people over the phone, no matter how hard they call in and try. You know, you're better off to do like Sher does and go to some old cop and ask them. You know, you get a little farther as to the mindset in that circumstance. People think that, you know, raising money is going to do something in these circumstances. Absolutely not in this arena at this point in time. No, it's always just a fucking money grab. They don't need you or any GoFundMe. And by the way, they're not going to let you go in and all of a sudden do your own sort of search like that necessarily. Not without some sort of go ahead and okay. See, that's what happens. People are in a situation where they get really antsy. They get FOMO. They want to find any way in helping out, and they think that a couple $100 and donating it to a creator that you like because they've got a GoFundMe link that they promise you is going to do this. Don't even fall for that shit. Don't do it. Keep your fucking money. You're not contributing to anything worthwhile that's going to bring these kids back any faster. Listen, just because we're learning of this information far after the fact, the cops are way ahead of us on this. And really, you can't imagine this is not going to be followed up with. This is going to go cold, especially with the level of lie at hand. There's something for humanity. I trust Daniel when he said that they're compiling a mountain of evidence. But that mountain of evidence isn't just against Malaya. It's going to be against everybody involved. And depending on who talks first. It sounds like Daniel really wants to be that guy. But again, it's not going to be suffice until, you know, Jack and Ruby come back to the world and people can understand what exactly went on and happened. You feel it's going to break Phoenix Files? They've got something. When they do, it's going to have to all come at once. Not these little tidbits of information just to make sure everybody is on the same level out there in TV land. The RCMP don't do courtesy updates. I don't want them to do any updates. They just get up there and tell you the same old shit anyway. At this point, they're certainly not going to go into a great detail about how they were deceived and lied to. Really, we've got that key point from Daniel. So Susan Bezio says, Durwood couldn't handle it when Justin started asking questions. Durwood, is that right? Might have to go back and watch that. Was that last night? I think I got the analysis from that. Well, we hope so, Monkey Mind. The thing is that you really hope arrests come soon in this circumstance. Can't really tell when and where, but you would think that something's going to break soon. It'd be nice to be a fly on the wall in the, in the lunchroom of the RCMP office there. Cops are letting them talk and hang themselves. That's a really good point, and that's a great. I mean, keep talking as long as you must. Like, think about how odd this is and how much it's come. It's not like people are bringing this out of nowhere. All of this information comes from Daniel. One, why is he sharing all of this information? And isn't the only part of that information the fact that he's admitting that they lied? And he's essentially putting it all onto Malaya. Look, here's what really happened. It looks like they've concocted a story like this Janie story, like Darren comes forth with. Whether or not it's true, who knows? I would wait until some sort of confirmation down the line, like court dates. But even if it is true, no matter what, even if that Janie story is true, it doesn't put him in the clear. Daniel can never be in the clear in this circumstance. no matter how much. So it's going to have to progress to a point until the authorities are able to get Malaya to talk, and on a level that they can already verify all of the information with, and she'll be incriminating Daniel. You can goddamn well bet that. Like, the cat's out of the bag already, and it started with the lie. And we're just not privy to all of the information that the RCMP have and they consider to be legit as far as what they believe at this point in time. We got Daniel for that. We got Daniel. And I'm telling you right now, you can't be believing Daniel about any fucking thing in this circumstance. It seems to be like he's setting himself up to get immunity in some sort of prosecution against Malaya. He's really spelled it out. That might work for him. I don't know. It depends on what they eventually come up with, right? Yeah, well, yeah, that's true anywhere in Nova Scotia in that sense. Their monkey mind. Daniel and Malaya took advantage of people's goodwill. Initially, I felt sorry for them. Really? Their kids were lost. That's so heartfelt of you, Karen Jones. What are you talking about, Shauna? Thanking people. I believe that too, Mama. Where's Mama? What did she say? Mama Angels. Cops are letting them talk and letting them hang themselves. Oh yeah, the truth comes out this way. Like, think about the motivators that are forcing Daniel to be out there and answer questions in the circumstance because he's so concerned for Jack and Lily. That's just a catchphrase. What's really motivating him? Desperation. The need to sew home a false narrative in order to make him look less culpable in this scenario. Well, if he was really that innocent, all of this should have been out right away. And I guess what I'm really saying is that Daniel knew about why that call was made, why it was falsified, making him in the know already, therefore an accessory to it. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know how you couldn't be. Especially if it, by all accounts, it's probably going to be drug related. So you can see it coming down to something like, for example, oh no, Malaya left that bowl or that stash up in the cupboard that the kids went and got into. You know, not me. Right? No. That's where Daniel's going with all of this. Christ, his flawed logic. God knows why what's going through his head. Darren kept saying how the Mackenzie clan is very protective and difficult to deal with. like he made it like they're the mafia. Ooh, fucking scary. Just look at all the money that's rolling through that place. Holy shit. Very intimidating. This must be the fucking the welfare mafia. The hell out of here. Mama Angie says, yeah, AB, Durwood is there to create a reasonable doubt for Daniel if he's charged. Fucking better be charged. How could they charge him? He's been so helpful. That's what he's going for, you would think. And I mean, in his situation, being as helpful as possible is the best choice, the best course of action. What's keeping him from telling the whole truth? The fact that he was lying all along the way, probably. So think of a lie in a lie. He's already admitted to a lie, confusing you even more to all of the other lies he's about to tell you that you're going to believe. I'm not saying that you're going to believe them, but that he's hoping people believe. Oh, did you finally remember? Did you remember some new info today? Come on, man. It's too strategic. Daniel Martel, when are you going to tell the truth if you're watching here, damn it, says Tammy Burke. They all got shit on each other, so they're protecting each other, Jamie. Yeah, they're all protecting one another. Even by talking smack about each other. It's a bit of a distraction from what happened to Jack and Lily. Everything that they've brought forward is a distraction, really, even though it's related to it. It doesn't directly speak to what happened to the kids. Why have they vanished? Why are they no longer? Are they dead and in the bed? Are they dead and in the ground? Just how close are all? You got to think about the people talking on behalf of Daniel. Like, it's very bizarre to have somebody go on public social media in a situation so serious as this and say what the things that Darren Gettys says on behalf of Daniel and have him enable it. It seems too methodical. There's a reason why he's doing it in the first place, and it's unnatural. Does that mean that Darren Gettys has more to do with what happened in this circumstance? Does his son Jordan? You would think that the more people that you bring into relocating a dead body, that's real risky. You don't want anybody else to know. I mean, it's one thing if you're writing it for Hollywood. It's another thing if you're really actually trying to get away with it. So there has to be some other bonding reason as to why. Now, from one good thing with Darren, he's always been overly positive regarding Daniel. And he's very protective of Daniel's reputation in that sense. Why? Is it just because he fell in love with Daniel by being around him a little bit? Or is there more of a reason that he needs to sow all of this nonsense and bullshit? It's just not every day that an individual gets out and wants to white knight for all of these people on social media if it's not going to benefit them. As he tells you, he's homeless and in need of all kinds of money. Why was D allowed to be with M's kids when he has an order? He can't see his other kids. Something big happened for him not to see his other kids, in your opinion. Osprey, you're right. People keep coming up. We're mentioning stuff in my comments section about how sketchy. I don't know if this is true because I don't have their criminal records. It would be easier. But this is just people correcting me or correcting information in the comments section. Whether they're misleading me, I don't know. But they're saying that Daniel has a history of grooming people with the devil's dandruff. Not some random brother of Malaya's in the circumstance. Like, it's a lot closer to home in that Daniel and his brother have a history of grooming kids and just offhanded, odd behavior like that and like previous charges. Oh, yeah. Hold on. What if Malaya... Hold on here. Where'd my... Lost my webcam. Did I get it back? Nope. Shit, hold on. There we go. I don't know why you can't see me. Oh, there you go. There I am. What if Malaya was screwing around with Daniel's brother, and that is why he's getting divorced? I don't know. You have me wondering that it's coming from you, Karen. Is that just you speculating now, or is that something worth thinking about? So the kids had two daddies. I don't know how his brother fits into all of this. Does he live in the trailer as well? Like, that's such a big risk. Like, why? It's so odd that you would just up and move your kids in when there's like a third party, like a sketchy uncle living there as well. Like, what is this? You think that you would want to grow up and move and have your own place somewhere else. Why is it that they're this age and all living together? It's just a situation that's smells. It's bizarre in the first place. It's like they probably have some sort of little illegal operation going there and they want to keep it real close to home. People have a right to be are right to be suspicious of that because it is suspicious. Like, it's just such an odd thing. And you've got the Unabomber Dad Earl out fucking back in the other cabins. When was Darren on Clutch Them Pearls? Let me know in chat. Maybe pull that up and see if I can't get a clip from it. So Karen, you're saying, excuse me, I'm way behind in chat. Holy crap. Bonnie Randall. Bonnie Randall, they victim blame these kids. Oh yeah, since day one. Daniel keeps doing it with this fake ass searching. They're putting all the blame on these kids, like it's these kids' fault that they up and got themselves out of the house. And dead. Well, they will. It rolls around in line with perhaps the kids went and got into something that they shouldn't have. Now, that's victim blaming technically as well. Because you're responsible for their safety. Why was anything dubbed as that around that could be that harmful towards a child in the first place? And who wants to be accountable for that? When it comes to that being in the house, it's going to fall on both Malaya, Daniel, and probably Janie. Maybe the uncle too. We don't know what's happened yet. We don't even know what's happened. And that's bare minimum. It's mom pooched the script. Excuse me, it's mom pooched the script, in your opinion. She bailed out but cannot talk, or she goes down in that way, Phoenix. That's possible, I guess, you know. I guess it's possible, but I'm not hanging my hat on it 100% until there's some sort of verification. I mean, you're not lying to me twice. You're glad CAS has Meadow in this circumstance, Tammy? You never like to see that, but... It's such a tragic scenario. To know that really Meadow is unwanted in that circumstance. That you just got sold out because your mother is such a cowardly POS that she doesn't want to be held accountable for any of the other kids that was in that household. Like, people out there can understand that an accident happens. What? It's not it can't be an accident is my point. They have to be cognizant, both Daniel and Malaya, of the level of danger they're in because they're responsible for their deaths. Absolutely they are. As soon as CPS started investigating, his first wife went to court and got the custody agreement changed. Also, she saw the situation declining. Is that right, Karen? As soon as CPS started investigating, his first wife went to court and got the custody agreement changed. Well, that's interesting. How would she know? How would she be aware of that? Just through Daniel or somebody, I wonder? Daniel knows the forest area, right? Exactly. He's lived there his entire life. He knew where to hide children, exactly. He'll have all kinds of spots in his mind. They're not going to be very difficult to hide, especially wrapped up in his own sweaters. You strapped one of those wrapped up sweaters on the front of your four-wheeler and the other one on the back with some bungees, and you're off to the races. You got to get rid of them before they start stinking. Here's Andy Hammond. These are the guys that I like. These random people that I've never met before that come in and leave me comments in the section below. God bless you guys for a moment. Andy Hammond. Darren is the homeless drug dealer. Daniel sucked him for some dandruff. Yeah, maybe is Darren involved in this because he's got some sort of trafficking operation, a rug trafficking operation going on, some backwoods operation with his other business, and he's going to be incriminated in all of this because Daniel, the kids got into some of his Colombia's finest that's been cut with fentanyl. And he brought Darren in to help fix a problem in this circumstance because when it comes down to it, Daniel's going to put blame. Maybe he's in it under blackmail in that sense. You're being blackmailed into this. Blackmailed into following a false narrative. That's possible. Like, that would make sense, no doubt. Right away, that sticks out in my mind. He's probably getting high on his own supply because the guy... Think about listening to the guy speak and all of the shit that he says that isn't true. Like, within all of this crazy shit, just stop for a moment and think about why the need for all of that extra useless conversation. The only thing that I can think of is he's a tweaker, dude. He's tweaking. Then when he's sobered up, he sounds like he was on Justin's live stream, as opposed to a Criming Shames. Hopefully they're being followed. Somehow they always say people go back to the scene. Oh, Tammy, the surveillance be pretty heavy now. It's never been easier to surveil somebody than in 2025. They're not going to be that good. Maybe old Daryl's the conductor of all this. He's orchestrating this cover-up, this conspiracy. I appreciate that so much, Luminous. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. Monkey Mind. If all was well, that trailer, I'd think that at least be tidied up in the yard, make it presentable, and be proud of his home. Yeah, it just takes a little bit, right? It doesn't take much. A little bit every day. A little bit of maintenance, but they've got other priorities like getting high and doing other things. You can see it, unfortunately. I'm suspect of it now. But again, the more that we talk about it, the more suspect of it I am. The only time that you ever see cases with this level of deception is usually at some level drugs are involved, and it's something that ties in other people to this little situation as well, unfortunately. Like, how do we know that Malaya wasn't trying to sedate her kids with it and that got too far? Like, we're presenting it, or I'm presenting it, excuse me, as this dude is just they wandered in and got a little fent on him and potentially overdosed. I'm just bringing up a conceptualization, a possibility. Like, how do we know that they weren't, they didn't get their drinks mixed up and they're experimenting and things like this? Who knows what went on in there with that? Man. Explorer car. I can't with the stupidity of these adults. It's almost as if they're trying out different scenarios, narratives on the public first, but the authorities are much smarter. One big popularity contest. Well, think about it. That's a good point, Explorer. The point, it does seem like they're trying out different narratives, but that's what they're doing to pandering. They're letting the audience come up with all of these things, and they're selecting what best suits them in the moment. And they can't deviate too far from the script that they have with the authorities at this point in time. They want us to all believe that the kids wandering into the bush is the actual script at this point in time. He's never really, other than that interview on CBC, really done anything to follow up on that, except feed into these situations that more or less look at make it look like he doesn't know what went on, and forces him into some sort of hero position that needs to find these kids. Like, you're still continuing the bullshit to this day, Daniel. Like, out with it, you fucking nerd. It's not just because I want to know. Like, a person who's genuinely innocent doesn't act like that. He's not sitting there and around at every point in time trying to clarify public perception as to their perceived confusion. The only reason you do that is to manipulate, to tweak them in the opposite direction as your skeletons in the closet. Playing this game, this Daniel's playing this game that he won't go up on anybody. He only trusts factual channels like the CBC, and he's selective and all of this stuff. This fucking guy, this rookie. See, he's falling susceptible to needing to go and align himself with malleable minds, people who are definitely going to believe anything that he says, and he surrounds himself with all of these people strategically. So it helps the narrative sell in that sense over time. That's what he's really hoping for. Angry Rabbit says, ask the right questions and Darren loses it when challenged on his theory. His theory. This ain't no fucking theory. If it was a theory, you'd be open to some peer review. It's the stupidest shit we've ever heard, Darren. You expect us to believe you, you idiot? Think about all of the shit that he's said that is just factually inaccurate. But somewhere in there, there's a bit of truth that we need to hold on to. No, the whole fucking thing is out the window. This guy is a fucking farce. All right? Pretending to have all of this information. He probably does have the information, but only because he's a key suspect in all of this and he's protecting it all. No outside person is going to be operating around telling people only half of what they know and protecting certain people. It's just all for show. He really thinks that's how things are. Like, this guy is sticking out like a flashlight. Monkey Mind, do you think? It could go through the roof. I like to help other people in their channels in that circumstance. I'm always welcome for more viewers for sure, but we'll rip it back up again. I appreciate the kind word. Mr. Hemi for speed. Zanny's the nanny? Do you think they had Zanny prescriptions? I don't know about that. I don't know if that's really as much of a thing here in Canada as it is in the States. It's a little bit different. They'll probably have an alternative for you. Mr. Hemi's saying there's such trash parents. These children didn't stand a chance. Sadly, you would never realize that until it's too late in that circumstance, right? Oh my God. Well, that probably could be contested in this circumstance with Daniel for those who know him. It's bizarre to me that these people that Daniel and Malaya brought in that very first day as part of a staging of a real emergency, as opposed to calling the RCMP and planning a fake ass story, that the people that they brought in are so agreeable to them that they come here to social media and spout out a little bit of information, whether it be factual or not, from a perspective, and that's what's the key details and can't be explored or deviated away from. Fuck, they're tainted. They're biased. They're bots. They were brought in to do exactly what it is that they're doing. Oh, I really need you right now. Oh God, can you go up there and talk for me? You shouldn't even have the need to be around on these social media platforms doing what it is that you're doing, let alone choosing who based off of what and stirring up drama. It goes a part of obfuscating. It's all part and parcel. Breakouts, I was thinking caps. Oh, wrong one. Weather was cold and rainy and damp, no jackets, etc. Like, seriously, lies and lies, Teresa says. Oh, right. Like, what sort of wavelength were you riding on when you know that the story that you just sold, you told the authorities that the kids just wandered into the bush? Dude, if that really happened, there would be no need for you to be trucking down miles down the road, looking in and out of different culverts, really trying to sell it that these kids wandered away or have taken. But anything is better than people suspecting that you have something to do with, killing them, let alone, transporting their corpses. Okay, Karen, say hi to Woofy for me. My daughter has had multiple miscarriages. Ooh, and wants a child so bad that these MFers do this. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of situations like that. Sadly. Just like when Darren said he spoke to the RCMP and told them he couldn't tell them everything. Nah, dude, they'd have arrested you for obstruction. Mama, exactly. Or the time that he said that he's not even going to tell the RCMP all this this important information I'm about to spew at this moment in time. It's 100%. It's ironclad. That's ironclad. Dude, have another one. Have another whiskey. Maybe they don't want them found. 10 days ago, Justin's show with Gettys. AB, they don't want them found from 10 days ago. Tony, that's when Darren was up there talking to Justin, you're saying? Okay, I'll look for it. Thank you very, 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 very much. Now, I'm going to say this once. Even if it turns out that I'm not accurate about any of the things that I conceptualize, I would always own up to that. However, in this circumstance, I'm not fucking wrong. I'm not wrong at all. But there's a market for it now. There's a market for bullshit. There's a market to come up here, and there's a chance to increase your numbers and have Daniel come up and allow him to spew all of this fucking nonsense out there because it's really the only thing to talk about. I'm not about that. I'll let him go up on Justin's channel. You don't want to be a part of that. I don't necessarily. That's wrong in this circumstance. Not trying to play judge, jury, and executioner, but there's certain moral limits that I reach, and there's one with this one, and it has to do with knowing that son of a bitch has to be guilty in this circumstance, no matter how much he's coming out and publicly spilling it. Like, this isn't behind the interview room, and he's not getting shaken down. I mean, I want to believe him, but unfortunately, it's impossible because of where we are in the case at this point in time. But I'll be the first one to acknowledge any sort of factual information that old Daniel has brought forth. So would you can back up any of these claims with a little bit of evidence from Darren Getty? I'd be more than happy to accept it. Oh, by the way, a little off topic. Fuck, I got this French vanilla flavored coffee, and I really like it. It was really good. I'm surprised as to how good that was. Anyway, I was off topic. Fuck, it was really good. Little booze hound. Kind of tastes like Irish whiskey or Irish cream in that sense. Whew, almost triggered me. Heat warning here in Ontario. What about you guys, wherever you are? It is hot as hell at this point in time. If you look at everything, stand back, it's all there. This should be about Lily and Jack, not them. Those families arguing and bickering back and forth. You're not wrong with that, Teresa. I don't want to hate upon that, though, because I'm a sucker like that. I get entertained easily. I love to sort out all the drama and nitpick and then shit talk. And then I feel bad immediately afterwards. Like, I wasn't completely right with that video I released earlier before. Like, that doesn't actually represent what I feel. Because it didn't take me till making the video until I kind of changed the way I was feeling about that. Not that I'm all in on any one person at any point in time, but, you know, I can understand both sides of that argument. What the point to the video was, look at what's going on. Is this really Belinda Gray, or is she being negatively influenced by the nonsense that's being portrayed by Daniel, essentially? And really, it comes down to Darren Gettys' rumor, and that led indirectly to this back and forth with Belinda Gray and the chief and things like that, which probably never should have happened in the first place. They're both right in their own minds, but the more that you find out about the situation, the more questions you have for everybody. I see what you're saying, Mr. Hemi for Speed. I don't believe they cared about prescriptions. They were likely better stacked than the Shoppers Drug Mart in that sense. Yeah. You're talking about the alternative way of getting them, not from a doctor, but the homemade ones that are always, by the way, cut. That's a really good. Think about the possibilities with homemade pills that sit around your house in that sense. Like, if you're not careful, it's really easy for kids to mistake them in that circumstance. But two of them? Yeah, I can always go for it, but both of them? Like, what did you have? A barrel full of Tina? The kids fell in? I mean, how this played out and why both had to go, I don't know. How do we know that the Ruggs are involved and under the influence of the math, that Daniel changes so much he becomes like this vicious sexual animal, and or his uncle, and somehow in the night he broke in and viciously abused the child to a point of death, and did the other one as well. I mean, I'm not trying to be gross and morbid, but it happens. What if the whole family's incestuous like that? Like, could you fucking imagine living all together like that with your... They would drive me nuts. I don't want to be around my family like that. They're annoying. I want to get the hell out, live my own life. Living with your mom out back and your fucking brother in the other room while you got your wife and fucking 3 kids in a shithole. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? The whole scenario doesn't make sense. Furious about the condition of your house now. Not really. But I am now that I'm talking about it. I've talked myself into a kerfuffle. If you look at everything... Oh, hold on. I'm way behind. Excuse me. But really, it's kind of fucking weird. I'm done being nice about it. I'm done being nice, Daniel. Why don't you get into the chats and answer that question? Why the fuck you're living on your mom's land with your brother? That ups the risk factor of the kids being abused. And God knows your history of abuse. Is it correct that you were found guilty of grooming children with the devil's dandruff? People are all up in my comment section talking about how that's you and your brother, as opposed to Malaya's family. Oh, these bastards are used to lying. You can tell that. And really, you've got to say something. AB, am I central, south, or northern Ontario? Fuck, I wish I was in northern Ontario. I wish I was east Ontario, but I'm in southern Ontario. Fucking shithole. It is what you make it, I know, but there's so many different places I'd rather be. This is down in the armpit of Ontario. God damn. Right across the lake from Cleveland. You'd think I'd be a Cleveland fan, but I'm not. It's funny. Something so close, you think that you would relate to it a little better than I do, but I don't. Fuck, I don't like Cleveland. I don't give a fuck about Cleveland. I'm a steak by the lake. I'm just kidding. I used to like the Indians. You're saying the meth out there with fentanyl. Well, that's everywhere, Jamie. You know, that's a real danger in all of this. That's out of their control, but they keep talking about them having some sort of little trafficking business together. You'd think that it might do a little bit better, but they're probably their own. They do it because they supply themselves first, right? They do it to offset the cost of staying high. By the way, I did see a picture of Daniel's mom, and she does look like a tweaker, dude. Will you take my word for it? Do you want to see? She looks like she knows her way around a crack pipe. Trust me, I can tell. This woman's been rode hard and put away wet. You think I'm fucking rude? No. Trust me. Let me see here. Now, I'm not doing this to make fun of the way she looks. I'm just letting you know that by the looks of it, she knows what drugs are. Isn't that right? The guys look a lot alike. Tell that's your mom, Janie. This is Darren's lover. Got her boys living in her front yard and the old man in the shack out back. You want to show the picture, Bobby? There you go. Is Deerwood in here? Did I miss him? Where is he? That son of a bitch. I had put him on a 24-hour timeout, but he might be back. Where is he? Lacadian saying, oh yeah, she's been around the block. Yeah, I think she knows exactly what the hell's going on. That's fairly thin. You're fairly slim, you guys, by the way, now that I notice it. What sort of diet do you guys adhere to? Must be like the Liver King diet. You're calling booze on the older ones for sure? Everybody's being so judgmental. Everybody's so judgmental. This will be driving like Daniel up the wall. How dare you people talk about my family like this? We'll send him into another rage. Daniel's mom looks like a tweaker. Malaya's mom looks like a barfly. This is generational dysfunction, AB, says Mr. Hemi for speed. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Like, no doubt about it. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, to use an analogy, to borrow from that. I guess you're right. You want to see his mom? Everybody's calling to see your the mom. The guys must be behind. Well, that's Daniel's mother right there. Now, do I have another picture in the back that I screenshot? I actually screenshotted this from 1111 True Crime. So I need to give her credit. Okay, what is this? Got another one up there that I found interesting. Let me see. Oh, yeah. So, of course, Daniel wants to start talking about this blue Tesla car. Think about that for a second. There was this weird guy around that was looking through for the kids in the bush. We had to call the police on him to stop, stalking us. He was warned. He's using that. He wants to use that as an example so that anybody else out there in television land doesn't think about doing the same. Well, the question will always be, no matter what, why don't you want people out there searching for your kids on your land? Like, what is it you got to hide? You don't want to address it directly. If the guy's acting ridiculous, then put out a statement. Issue a legitimate statement. Just don't come into Justin's chat and say, oh, this weird guy was warned. You guys aren't allowed to be around here searching for the kids that we reported missing. By the way, we just reported our kids missing. No, we don't want anybody to search for them. Don't worry about it. Everybody, please don't come and search. That's really what he's saying. AB, do I notice everyone in this story besides Lindley and Jack have different surnames? Yeah. So really, what are you saying in this circumstance, Mr. Hemi? That they were disregarded because they weren't the same as everybody else, so they were treated like secondhand children's around everybody else, and that's just how they became, because of Malaya's choice, really, to ice out Belinda and Cody in the circumstance. Because I'm not believing, like, they were iced out. I'll give Belinda the benefit of the doubt. Like, that's sadly what happens in circumstances like this little breakup. You guys were never together in the first place. You had 2 kids together. Surely there's a lot of stories surrounding that. You know, notice that Cody is staying so fucking far away from any of this. Why isn't he around here talking up, Daniel? Why isn't he engaged? Why isn't Cody engaged? Why is Daniel, a person who's not their father, engaged in all of this? And why do you think that this person, Daniel, has these 2 kids' best interest in his mind? Because he's working off the part of your mind that wants to think the best case scenario. You want to give Daniel the benefit of the doubt, and he's hoping that you do, especially when it comes to, these children's best interest. Do you think if this asshole had those kids' best interest in mind, that fucking house would look like the trash house it is? Absolutely not. That kind of brings the question up, is, does he really recognize what a normal functioning home should look like? Does he even understand what a loving, caring, nurturing environment for a child would look like? I doubt it. And that comes from this other chick on your screen, the broad that lives in that 35-foot shithole in the back. That tweaker van. Goddamn right they're rednecks. Normally that's an insult to rednecks. What sets you apart from these pieces of shit? The fact that you have some love in your heart? The fact that you care? Daniel doesn't care. Daniel's been sitting there with Darren feeding us false information the entire time. That would be on purpose. So therefore, if they're so eager to share all of this falsified secondhand information, what is it they're trying to deflect away from? The same thing that they were trying to deflect away from when Malaya called the RCMP in. Yeah, that's what they say in the ditch. The RCMP, the children were last seen alive on May 1st, the day before. Probably Daniel doesn't want to tell you that he was seen at the local... Uh-oh. Daniel doesn't want to... Hold on for a sec. Oh, shit. No worries. That's okay. That's actually not a bad thing. I'm okay. Stupid idiot. I had a position open that just closed on me. I didn't know what it was. Let's see. It's probably at the liquor store. Where do they sell the liquor at in Nova Scotia? Hell no. About they would go to a mall parking lot when they were off sick. Well, you still have to take them around with you, right? They might be not feeling good, but you still got to do your running around. Hello, Jen R. Both Cody and Daniel had 2 kids that dropped. I guess Malaya was okay with that. I could never respect a deadbeat dad. So... Karen Jones is piping up again. AB, I heard that Justin was involved in dog fighting. Hence all of the weeping about the dog in the trailer. Name a crime they weren't involved in. Dog fighting, illegal dog fighting. God, there's some real... So, you know how you raise angry fucking dogs? You lock them in cages and abuse the shit out of them. Is what you do. That's how you get a prize fighting dog. Holy mackerel. I hope that's not true, Karen. She left him, but already applied for full custody. She left him, but who left who? Are you talking about Cody? Well, she went to court for full custody. There wasn't really an agreement when they separated. There was no agreement, and she went to court to get full custody in order to ice Cody out of the situation back then. That would be the point of getting full custody, so you could make all of the decisions and not have to run anything by the kid's dad. Because for whatever reason, I don't know what the reason was, it's just why you would do that. Lean on me, what's going on? I was trying to text into my phone. Weren't chatting to my phone, but it doesn't understand me. Oh. Do you have it on English? Why wouldn't Rhiannon Benson, there's a good question. Why wouldn't Janie try to take care of Meadow instead of letting her grandchildren go to services? Well, one, because it's Daniel's responsibility. And Grandma is busy looking after her prize-winning fighting dogs in the trailer that help guard the medicine cabinet. You get dog fighting too, just when you thought that this crew could not get more despicable. What's Karen Jones telling me? Usually she's right. I don't know. That's the first I heard about it too, so I'm not trying to put myself in a position of informing you. I'm just reading the comment. I'm not gonna bet against that. I don't, she's usually pretty bang on. Rhiannon, she's not even allowed to see Meadow, says Mama Angie. How do you know that? Why would she, she's out there on social media throwing all this hate publicly. I'll give him something to talk about. Tells you she's already wound up in the background. She's watching this and that go down on social media. Wait till she realizes people are portraying her like some sort of fucking high price hussy or low price hussy. Well, I mean, honey, what the fuck are you doing there at the property? What happened to the woman's touch in that circumstance around that property? You could spend a little bit of time on it to make it look a little better. It's probably, how do you know it's not Earl's? Earl doesn't come back here and do it for me. You can't have Daniel spend a day and paint things for you. It's hard, Nobody's working together out there. It's very difficult. Yeah, they made those kids disappear. Absolutely they did. It might be different if it was a picture perfect environment, but it doesn't look like it's a picture perfect environment. The signs of neglect. And it's something that you just can't ignore. It's like you know that it's going to be going on inside the house as well as outside the house. It makes you think, what else in your lives are you neglecting? Those kids raise themselves. What else do I got? I'll pull this one up. This is the blue taxi statement. I got this from 1111 True Crime 2. I like this picture. Whoops, where'd it go? Look at Daniel. You think Daniel's really that emotional? You think Daniel's really so emotional that just at that moment when he was put on the spot on camera, he let all of these emotions just run free so that he could fish for some of your sympathy? Oh, look at how caring of an individual he is. Oh, he just must be so confused. No, it's more of he was ducking out, making sure that they were getting all of this on film. It's the only reason that you get in front of a camera and cry, Daniel. We know that. Please don't come up into my lawn and search for my kids. Like, granted, it might be a bizarre situation, but he's on social media discouraging other people just like him. We'll call the cops on you. That's really what it's saying. Don't come near here, we'll call the cops on you. Earl will come out and yell at you. You're guessing if you can watch dogfighting, then you can do evil things. Yeah, think about the type of temperament mentality of a person engaged in dogfighting in 2025. If that's true, that's going to put a real cramp on how the public perceive them. Oh boy, that's not very nice at all. Just one moment, please. There we go. Had to light that stogie up. It's Saturday, don't you know? Let's see. I don't know, Layla. Karen would know if pit bulls are illegal in Pictou. Maybe that's their ring, is this illegal dog wrestling league. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, AB. My mom's older now. Excuse me, and a bunch of us team up and get all the outside work done for her. Yeah, well, you should do that. Not everybody's lucky enough to have family like that. But it's weird that they all live together. And it's all sketchy. You think that it would be a little bit more family oriented around there. So they've been living at the trailer for 2 years. Is that right about that? The two of them need to take accountability. Darren's a complete fool and deserves to be incarcerated as well. I believe that too, Andy. And he probably smells that coming. Darren is a complete fool and deserves to be incarcerated as well. Once all the truth comes out, he's lucky if police get him before the people do. Yeah, Andy, I think a lot of people would share that same sort of outlook. Wait, they're going to flip their wigs. They're going to flip their wigs. What was the wig flipping moment of the Lilani Simon situation? Do you guys remember? There would have been one certain thing that sold it to people that knew that this chick was lying, that motivated them to go and start protesting in front of her house. I can't remember. A little bit off topic, excuse me. Yeah, JB, you're pretty on that one. You're calling the addiction in that sense. But Daniel says he's passed all kinds of drug tests. He's passed all kinds of drug tests. It's like Vince McMahon. And this is him, getting in front of everybody, telling how, he's passed and this test worked out in your favor. It's so bizarre to listen to somebody talk about a polygraph examination and really spill the tea and out yourself about how much you were shitting your pants before it and how all of this emotion, all of these chemicals were released from your brain when they just had you in a moment and said that it was working out in your favor in this circumstance. Like, what is it you're really saying? You're not saying anything. The cops have you, are towing you along for all you know. Presumably you're innocent and everything, aren't you? So why such a big movement of all of this emotion if you didn't have all kinds of things to fucking hide? That's why people give people polygraph tests in the first place, to see how fucking off kilter they get when people are about to ask them questions. But I guess there's a little bit you can say for anxiety, and he was really trying to blame it on his anxiety. Well, Daniel, why would your anxiety level be so heightened to the point of incapacitation in that moment that you had to admit it? This is coming from him. It doesn't matter anyway at the end of the day, because the test is just part of the initial steps. You were going to take it whether you liked it or not. You're in this situation whether you like it or not. You keep insisting on putting yourself in a position that's volunteering for all of this, and then some, as if that's some sort of example as to your innocence and any wrongdoing. The sheer desperation and the fact that you're trying to do that tells me that you're hiding something. Why? Because you are. They ain't believing him, not on a nothing. Yeah, Tammy, they would require rug tests after all this news. Oh, absolutely, I would agree. I didn't want to stay there. Daniel made me, said Malaya. Karen Jones, when you see these messages, especially after the fact, you know that the messages coming from Malaya are... Let's see. I will. Just give me a few minutes, please. Hold on. Give me your cup. They're disingenuous. She's placating. She's feeding people who are in a position to want an answer to the questions they asked. She's just telling them what they want to hear. She's not open and conversing about anything necessarily. She doesn't want to find those kids. Why the hell would she want to find them? She's so busy running away from the situation. But she wants you to believe that she's busy running looking for them. Yeah, right, OJ. You gotta spoil yourself. You're getting Taco Bell. Lean on me. Every so often is probably okay. You're trying to go for the gut cleanse. You're working out your bowels. I could go for some tamales right now. I love Mexican food. But real Mexican food. I don't mind some of the stuff at Taco Bell, though. There are things you can take with that. There are things that you can take that will slow down your metabolism, nervous system, etc. Yeah, it's not that a Google is going to beat it, but yeah, it's not a perfect science. Can you not do that, please? Let's see. Bring that here. You're sneaky. Come here. Give me your cup. You leave the rest for me, okay? You be happy. Trying to steal my Coke. Not that type of Coke. My Coca-Cola. You can take beta blockers to calm yourself for tests, Monkey. Well, it doesn't sound like he was too calmed, but I think what the key to all of this is disassociating yourself from the normal firing of your own internal systems. Any sort of drug use detaches you, especially if you've been using it for any long period of time. Disassociates you from that natural human emotion and reactions. Okay. You want it all? You're driving me nuts. Take it. Scram. Jeez, I'm being harassed. Heaven's sakes. How dare you steal my Coca-Cola from me? She knows what time to hit me up. Malaya projects the Virgin Mary sting. Lots of men fall for it. Women don't. What is that, Karen Jones? What are you saying, Tammy? You have to disagree where? You can disagree. You're allowed to disagree. I forgot what I said, though. When I'm reading all these comments, I forgot what you're referring to. Xannies will beat a poly? Yeah, well, Xanax is just methamphetamine, Jamie. Just legalized methamphetamine renamed. Oh, quesadillas, yes. A little sour cream on that. Oh, yeah. Mr. Hemi, he made me do it. He wouldn't let me accountability a young woman's kryptonite. Let me read. Malaya in the Me Too movement, LOL. Oh, yeah, she's going to jump behind that Me Too. Yeah, she's looking for it. That movement is bullshit, though. That movement, the Me Too movement, was so like 2016, not 2025 when it's been exposed as a fraud and a front in the first place. A blackmail ring of its own. She wants to live a normal life. We'll find she says that at this point in time after all this has happened. Oh, now you want to live a normal life. after your kids are dead. Well, why didn't you want to fucking live a normal life leading up till their death? It didn't seem like you were too interested in living a normal life, in your best life then. Supposedly I heard that this Cheryl said that this picture, should I say that? That this picture was legit and she really was at the beach. Not that it matters. Like, everybody can go outside and get some fresh air. What matters in all of this, Cheryl, you stupid ass, you idiot, is the fact that you're spamming it all over social media and trying to get some sort of affirmation from strangers over it. Okay? So stop trying to twist, as these girls like to say, the real reason why it pisses everybody off in the first place. It's you idiots that don't get it, not any of us. We know exactly why we're all here, why we're pissed off, and it's you who doesn't get it. We don't have to change. Not at all. We don't have to, pretend that things are going to work out. We don't have to hope. We can think about things in a realistic manner and hold you accountable far before the courts do. And isn't that just what he's so worried about and concerned about? If you were innocent in any situation, you wouldn't be so consumed with the way that you were perceived in the public. Like, what does that fucking say about your priorities in the moment? None of the concern is about Jack and Lily. It's more for your own reputation in and amongst your peers at this moment. Why? Because really at that point, you're probably championing for a larger group of people that are culpable in this circumstance. And you're doing a solid out of desperation. That's what I think. For those watching in the future, let me know what you think, and don't be afraid to comment it up in the comment section below. Especially if you've got some troll comment. Today was a good day. Tammy Burke about Daniel having anxiety with the polygraph. I can see that let's just say if it was all M, but I can understand the anxiety. Well, I think we're looking into it's like a dog chasing its tail, Tammy, here. Because Daniel's story is bullshit to begin with. He's celebrating the fact that he's passed a polygraph examination as though it means all of this to the outside world. How very naive and gullible he is. Or he seems to want to be perceived. Because that's the conversation he wants to impress upon the people, but you and I both know that that's the stupidest thing that I've ever fucking heard. Okay? And I think deep down inside he knows that too. But it's an attempt to grasp at a shallow topic where there's a lot deeper of meaning behind. Because let's face it, none of what he said up there in the CBC really made a lick of sense. The question was fair. Why is it that you think that you're not a suspect, Daniel? Oh, no, guys, I'm just not a suspect. You're going to have to take my word for it. Got all of these things, and these guys have all of these, all of this information on Malaya, and I'll be visiting her up in prison. I can take Meadow with me. Look at what he was doing in that circumstance. One, you sold the farm if you're ever trying to, pretend that you didn't lie. The cops will deal with you just like that. They'll tell you all kinds of things. If you don't know by now, cops will tell you all kinds of things and agree with you and play along just to keep you talking for as long as possible. I think comes as like a rule with the job. And people fall for that every single time. Daniel says he has an in with police. Sure, Daniel. He wants people to think that. Oh, like you, Inspector Caluso, and Daniel are hot on the fucking case. Hot on the case, figuring things out, as opposed to normal protocol and everybody and all of the other, aged veteran investigators up there. Anything to make it look like he's not a suspect in this circumstance. He spent all of his time talking about how he's not a suspect in a way that makes no sense. He could have spent all that time talking about other things. Why that topic? Why the need to have to fix your reputation, and why in this circumstance is that even an issue? Wouldn't that just come with the territory? But knowing the truth deep down, would that really actually bother you? No, it doesn't. It doesn't bother people when they make up stuff like that, unless you really have something to hide and you're active in the need and desperate of selling this cockamamie story to people. You can understand why he would lie. He's certainly not going to tell the truth. Are lumber brokers not a thing in this area or not permitted? Yeah. What do you mean, Slim Pickens? Well, first of all, let's just remind Daniel out there that if all of this was important to the case, the RCMP would have came out and made mention and make it a note to skirt any sort of... They would have been so concerned about the victims in this circumstance, they would have considered you a victim as well in this circumstance, Daniel. And you're not anything close to a victim. You're a suspect, bro. You want to make it look like you're a victim. See, when the RCMP or law enforcement think that you need protecting and you've passed the polygraph and we're not considering this guy as a suspect, they make sure to make mention. They'll make mention of it because of the complexity and this the tight emotions that are attached to a situation like this, because people want to hang you from lampposts, son. And this was a few years ago, they would have. They still might. Daniel wanted... I think he was trying to portray that. You're right. He was trying to make it look like he was so in line with the investigation by helping them, but he's not really needed anymore, and therefore not a suspect. There's Darwood, that son of a bitch. Darren O'Grady, people are laughing at you. I've got a bent mind. I've spoke nothing but truth in here, you scumbag fucking piece of shit. No matter if you are a fake Derwood or a real one. Does somebody want to do the pleasure of escorting that cocksucker the fuck out of this chat? Hey, pussy. Hey, pussy. I can't wait to see you on the other side, son. Maybe I'll come visit you. We'll do a prison interview from the inside. Derwood, you're so fucking stupid. You've got to be the dumbest motherfucker, especially when you talk. Do one of my mods want to boot him out for 24 hours, please? 24-hour timeout. Notice that's another account, Derwood. That's not the same old account that you come in here on. It doesn't matter. I mean that to all 4 Derwood O'Grady accounts. You better be careful of what you say, Derwood. Hey, Tweaker? What do you think, son? You trafficking around that fine cut product or what? He wasn't long taking off last night, Tammy Burke says. Derwood O'Grady. What a fucking loser this guy is. That's not really... I don't think that's actually Derwood. That's the fake Derwood, but I'm playing along. Just in case it is. Derwood, you lied in the missing children's case. Yeah, he did, didn't he? You protected all of the key information. Well, it's because you're a suspect in all of this. Keep that maggot in the chat. Yeah, just okay. All right. Dog breath in the house. Okay, I keep screenshotting what he says because he backtracks. You got to be careful about what you're typing. Like your stories and your claims never even hold up to a bunch of laymen in chat, pal. Like they called you out before I could even get to you. My first instinct was Malaya's postpartum psychosis on drugs. Daniel got freaked and covered for her. Malaya's self-preservation framed Daniel. First of all, there's no need to even introduce any sort of official diagnosis into a situation like this. Don't believe these fucking morons when he's bringing up mental issues. Yeah, they all usually women are the first ones to go crazy on the fucking Tina. Maybe she was dabbling in his own supply. The bigger topic there is that there was rugs in the house. Where did the comment go? My first instinct. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm not pooping on that, Karen. I appreciate your statement in here for sure. I don't know why, other than that's relying on something that Daniel said in that fucking idiot that was just in here, Darren Gettys, the proven liar. The proven liar. Dude's scared of Karen Jones, bro. Dude, you run when Karen comes into town. That intrigues me even more about this case now. Not just, I've already stopped wondering who Karen is, but there's still that little mystery in my mind. I can't wait to find out someday who she is. That'll be a show all of its own. What did I say? Yeah, it's Friday today. I was temporarily in a different day of the week or what? Yeah, but you might be a nurse and a mother. You can't sit. You're just taking a guess, but you can't sit here and put that diagnosis on her. Especially when there's drugs in the home. Especially if there's drugs in the home. There's no possible way you can make a diagnosis of anything, nobody knowing full well that the subject is a user. So the person has to get clean firsthand. And isn't postpartum in that sense? Well, I don't want to get into that. I don't like that conversation. One, because I don't think it's a factor here at all. I don't think it's a factor. It's just a cover and a grab for sympathy by way of the guilty parties, trying to get that early jump on, providing a defense for not being held accountable due to psychological conditions. Yeah, not fucking happening in here, bitch. Look, honey, you fucking ran down the road as far away as you could after reporting these kids missing, and you threw your kids as you were driving down the road to Children's Aid, and you've been gone ever since. No, it's the worst of the worst. You don't even have to compare to what a caring, genuine individual that was genuinely victimized. She couldn't wait to put blame back over onto the kids and get out of Dodge and have Daniel keep talking and playing pretend in front of the cameras. I'll give you something that's ironclad. You'll be getting that ironclad piece in the showers, Darren Gettys, in prison pretty soon, pal. Hopefully you can bunk with your little bitch, Daniel. Revler, you got it. One of them knows what happens to those babies. It's time to fess up. They both know. They both know what happened, and probably more than both of them. They all sat around there for a great amount of time. It was probably thrown upon them at the last minute when the people in their lives that they call to come in at the last minute because there's an emergency situation. They're in a position to be fed a load of lies that they're going to believe, and it's all 100% lies. These people are trying to cover up the brutal murder of 2 kids, probably. And until you can prove me otherwise, I should probably be calling it that. Because what else are we to think when you present us such bullshit, Daniel? You guys were all tied up in a drug-fueled fuck party in there, and you just got a little too far with the kids. How do we know that didn't happen? Look what else we're finding out about you along the way. Now, that's a possibility as well, that you guys are the coldest motherfuckers on the planet. Nasty. We didn't block you, Jamie. You're here. Tired of the step-by-step process, trying to weigh it against the possibilities and the nicest scenario. Belinda Gray was right. She doesn't, it is the worst case scenario here. These kids are dead, and you've got 2 people who are actively trying to cover up their culpability. Now, it's just not going to be a little thing that they're lying about. They're just not lying about a wee little thing. It's going to be something that warrants such a bizarre a bizarre standpoint at this point in time. Doesn't matter how many little factual tidbits that he wants to share with everybody. Think about those two son of a bitches in this position holding any sort of information and dangling it in front of the CBC interviewer like it was something that they'll just have to, tune in next week and get updated on. The CBC interviewer was skeptical about her. Karen Jones, why all the swooping and bowing and curtsying to Darren, the Duke of Pictou County? Oh, because he's come with a message from the suspects. And he wants everybody to at least be talking about it in a factual manner. It's very important to Daniel at this point in time that it gets talked about a certain way. He calls that certain way factual. I wonder why that is. I wonder why he's so invested in how people talk about a situation anyway. Shouldn't being innocent and carefree at this point in time be enough for you? Yeah, goddamn right Darren's a suspect. When you first introduce, nobody knows him, so there's plausible deniability from the outside, but from the inside, from the cops, that's a different story. The need to even be here on social media and put themselves in a position of some sort of control over the narrative that gets talked about should tell you to the level of culpability that they really are. And it would to a normal person who troubleshoots anything. I'm just a mere electrician. But to a homicide investigator, same thing. It doesn't matter if you're troubleshooting a machine in a factory or a disappearance, a children's disappearance. You go about the way that you think and dissect information, and the availability to conceptualize and scale out and recognize things don't really change that much. I'm not saying they're the same thing, but it's the mindset. This is why investigators and cops love tradesmen. And if you can have an analytical mind and follow a blueprint in that sense, you've got a leg up. Hello, chat and AB. If this was my babies, I'd be so mad at the person responsible that I wouldn't give an F what may come. Excuse me. Lost my voice there for a moment. Yeah, Shay. But the kids and the parents in this circumstance are the opposite. They have gone. They've bailed. The fact that the mother bailed the first day should tell you so much about this. There is no excuse in the world as you see these two. You'll see these channels fight over how essentially how popular each one of these associates are from either side of the family, when in fact they're wind-up clocks. They've been put there to put a better spin on the scenario. Listen, that mother ran the fuck away after she reported her kids missing, never to be heard from again in this circumstance. Has nothing to do with interviews or anything. She's radio silent. What does that tell you? Is that something that you would recommend that your fucking mother do? Your daughter do? Would you recommend that in a situation like this? I don't think so. That goes against all human logic. So obviously we're dealing with a sham here. Some women are already talking about being pen pals with Dan in jail. Like AB there on his haircut. Yeah. I love those channels, by the way. Phone calls from prison. I listened to that with Wade Wilson crap phone calls. Yeah, I can't wait for those. Well, at least they'll be in jail at this point in time. And we'll have some sort of closure as to what went on here. Daniel, just tell the cops. Because it's so important. The cops have all the information. Why are you even out here? Wendy G, are the kids kidnapped for a drug debt? Or a debt, you mean? No, I highly doubt it. That's too complicated in my mind at this point. See, all that's doing is apologizing for the parents, the parents who are responsible for the safety of the kids. You're introducing some stranger that came in and swooped their kids because there was some sort of drug debt. Well, allegedly the drug dealer is Darren Gettys. And no, it doesn't go like that. Drug dealers don't want kids in that circumstance. They're not that easily, exchangeable for fiat money. Not unless you are one sick motherfucker and you want to carry out some sort of an act of violence on that family. And then usually what happens is that the kids are found dead in the front yard or something like that, for example. Not hidden away, never to be seen from again. When you see children that are hidden away, never to be seen from again, the reason you can't find them is on purpose. And that's because of the parents directly, not anybody not any third party from there. These parents don't want to be accountable in any way in the situation. They wanted to sell this bullshit story. That was their priority. That time is come and past. And then their second attempt was this cockamamie Darren Gettys story about Janie seeing these kids in Malaya, completely opposite to what things were. Plant this story. This topic, I don't even believe the story. How can you believe the story? Yeah, we know something else happened, but it wasn't some alternative at this point because it didn't work. The first story wasn't good enough to get the suspicion off you. You come and introduce a second story later on. Oh, my Janie saw it. She's got the timeline. Tells you that fucking moron Daniel is running around enabling the proven liar, Darren Gettys. He's walking around claiming that what Darren Gettys is lying about on people's live streams is factual at any one point in time. What does that tell you about Daniel? That cocksucker's a liar. Didn't see Justin's live. I was compiling data for this case for statistical analysis. Oh, good for you. Using the laws of probability. We were starting to get a better, and more accurate depiction just from a little bit of time and listening to Daniel. Let's not forget the whole reason that Daniel is out here acting like he's acting is not because he cares about the kids. It's because he cares about his reputation and what people are saying and thinking about him at that moment in time. That is a sign of guilt, my friends. Just give me a few minutes, son. We'll have some in a bit. Phoenix Airport's borders. He wanted people to go in that direction. Why? because you want to get people's imaginations really running as to what the possibility is in that moment. Everybody everywhere. Oh, I wish there was an Amber Alert. I wish all of this fucking thing that is working against us at this point in time. It's another thing to add to the confusion. People have to sort through all of that. So it just compiles up. That would be the short answer, I would think, for that. It's just the line he was feeding Phoenix. It's telling that the public is more upset about the kids being missing than the parents are. That's fuck. If this was 11/11, I'd give you the goat, Mama Angel. That's a good statement. Yeah, you're right. That's a good summary statement. And Malaya is free as a bird for now. Well, these people are probably trapped in their own conscience because they're shitting at every point, every moment. We know what consumes their time every day is their own, narcissistic values in this sense. Oh, I wonder what people are saying about me online. I'm going to have to go check. Maybe I'll drop a new post. Maybe we should get involved in these Facebook groups. Maybe go up there and drop some information for them. Perfect. Now's the time for it. They're up and running. That's not what natural innocent victims in a circumstance like this would ever do. They don't give a shit about what a bunch of rando strangers are going to think about them at any one time. You want to talk about the case? That's your business. A person that wouldn't otherwise have something to hide would have all kinds of different priorities than what is being seen now. Usually. All these cases are slightly different, though, and people are different, and they deal with things in a different manner, depending on the circumstances. But no doubt in my mind that Daniel's talking because he knows the real reason. But how, even if he did know the real reason, how can they go about proving it when they've also introduced this separate conflict into the situation to verify any information in the moment? We're quarterbacking this. We don't know where the police investigators are or the reasoning behind that. But I'm just trying to post the question as closely to what I believe that they would be questioning as. I'm going to get some people mad, Lacadian. In what way? How would I get people mad in that circumstance? Even if Daniel came out here and started spewing the 100% truth to the world and it stuck, it's not going to make him any less culpable to the downfall of Jack and Lilly Sullivan in the circumstance. It's going to be his twist and his perspective on his life in that sense. He's not going to see things as accurately as outsiders are. He's 100% biased. He's one way. Self-preservation. I would imagine. Luke and Bays, you know it, and they're all related in some way. That is weird. All these relations, all these little half-brothers and stepsisters, and you guys are just a big old freak show. What the hell is all up in there? You're just covering. Oh, they're just covering. They're just covering because their main dealer's going to jail. Rhiannon, Benson, what do you mean, Darren Gettys? The Facebook groups are brutal, says Karen Jones, like the Roman Colosseum, all locals red in tooth and nail. Yeah, I get it. It gets pretty crazy. I like them when they start to compete. They can start to compete who can champion the suspect's statements and these theories the best. They start competing in against one another. Some of it's funny to watch. Oh, I like them more. Daniel knows he got suckered, Karen. You know, I'm not even sold on that story. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe him like this little breakup was legitimate in my mind. If you're both trying to get away with a crime, it would only make sense to split up. To add that initial layer of plausible deniability because they can't rightly question you in the moment. Of course, Daniel can portray it a certain way, and who is anybody to question him in that sense? You really can't prove it, right? But you're asking me to trust the guy who's already admitted to lying and continues to embellish and make himself out to be some sort of hero in all of this. That's what he's going for. Not one set of I would be so fucking embarrassed in that sense. He's not embarrassed one bit about all of this. He really wants to make it look like he's a victim of circumstance, the Three Stooges would say. He's a victim of circumstance, please. Now, Mel Wilkie, YouTubers' Facebook groups have camps without calling it. Durwood isn't interesting. His holds both color porn pom-poms. Yeah, I know where you're going with that. Yeah, you're right. To a degree. I think, yeah, you're actually right. That's fairly accurate. Sorry, Mel. You're right. Jamie Williams' search and rescue missed his body. He was found 20 minutes away from his abandoned car. Who was that, Tammy Burke? Oh, the Jamie Williams search. I'm not familiar with that. Karen Jones, you're saying that they're all afraid of their main dealers. All of them are covering for the dealers who are pissed that the kids got killed and caused this inconvenience. well, there's a certain level that that they're going to cut a line that they're not going to be able to prosecute. So it's not probably going to come back and haunt the actual suppliers to a degree, unless they're going to be singing like canaries and all of that, which might be their own concern. Like you would think that there would be a whole lot of finger pointing in and amongst one another. Okay, enough with those, please. Okay. Time is it? Oh, it's getting to be dinner time. Phoenix, some platforms will fail after this case. No way. Are you foreshadowing? Are you forecasting some? I don't think you're... No, people are fairly forgiving on YouTube in that sense. People can be people can be forgiven for certain things, especially creators. Amy, on May 1st, if there was a PSA in Pictou County for rugs OD due to tainted rugs. On May 1st, there was a PSA, a public service announcement in Pictou County for overdoses due to tainted product. They should have that on a continuous basis throughout all over the place. But thanks for the info, Amy, by the way. What are we getting at? 2.5 hours? Friends, I'm going to bail out. We're going to go have some supper now before my cupboards empty themselves on their own, if you know what I mean. They're having dinner without me. I'm going to it's Friday night. Am I going to be on a little bit later tonight? I might. But if not, we'll be back in the morning. We'll talk back at you in a little bit. Keep your ear to the ground and keep an open mind, friends. This is some serious shit, and it's still developing. Nothing that I brought through to you here necessarily, but we all know what's going on in the background. Peace.